Today in the 5-minute saltwater aquarium guide, it's time to make some proper water. We're talking what is an RODI system, why do we all use them, is it easy, and how do I get it set up and running? All that's coming up. Hey, I'm Ryan, your host of BRStv and the 5-minute saltwater aquarium guide. This is a clear, simplified, and direct path to setting up that first successful reef tank. Today we're starting with the source of fresh water. The wisest thing I've ever heard in reefing is maintaining a stunning reef tank full of corals is just a net result of maintaining high quality, stable water. Almost every success or challenge in reefing closely related to stable, high quality water parameters. So that said, the water will never be better than what you start with, and why RODI systems are so popular. Reverse osmosis, deionization, or RODI systems are just really cool filters that use a series of sediment, carbon, membranes, and resins to filter the water to lab quality, zero TDS water, appropriate for our saltwater aquariums. Even cooler, you can do it with near zero effort. You can get RODI water at a fish store, or within 5 to 10 minutes, set up 3 simple hoses, and anyone can do it at home as well. The reason why basically every saltwater aquarium owner I know uses RODI is because our home's tap water, well water, contains all kinds of impurities ranging from disinfectants like chlorine, ammonia, nitrate, phosphate, silica, copper, or other metals from things like aging pipes or all kinds of groundwater pollutants, many of which are not a big deal to humans but can be deadly to fish, which essentially breathe the water, and invertebrate like corals who live in it. So let's set up a system for these 2 tanks. The most common beginner RODI systems are simple BRS 4-stage RODI. This will produce zero TDS water appropriate for reef tanks for everyone and completely upgradable down the road if you ever want to add additional stages or accessories. But the 4-stage 75 gallon per day is all that's necessary for your first tank. With a portable system like this, you have 3 options. You can mount it on the wall in your garage, basement, or whatever room that you make water in, mount it under the sink and store it, or bring it out as needed. The most common option would probably be mounting on the wall of basements, laundry rooms, and garages where you can make and store water. So we're going to use some toggle bolts to mount it right to the wall, in our case next to a utility sink. After it's mounted, there are only 3 hoses. A red one is the source water, black one's the waste and goes down the drain, and then the blue one is your purified RODI water. To connect the red water supply line, unscrew your sink's aerator and replace it with the included diverter valve, which comes with common adapter rings. If you have an oddball faucet, your hardware store will have an adapter ring for you. Then pop on the red tube and you're ready to go. Now when you turn on the cold water to supply water to the system, the small knob will divert water to your RO system. Similar to that, many utility sinks have garden hose threads. In that case, the piece screws right on. You can also pick up a permanent attachment right under the sink, either from us or a hardware store. That way it's totally out of the way. The black wastewater tube can just be slid right down the drain and then taken out when you're done with it, or permanently attached to your sink's drain line above the trap. The blue line just goes into whatever container you want to store water in, the most common container being a Rubbermaid Brute trash can from a big box hardware store. I strongly suggest picking up a float valve, which we have pretty cheap, and the system will then turn off automatically when the bin is full. That's it, turn on the cold water on your faucet, flush the filters for a few hours the first time, and now you're ready to produce water for your tank. This system will make 75 gallons a day. Keep in mind that's about 3 gallons an hour, so it's not super fast, but for a 40-gallon tank like either of these, you can fill it entirely in half a day, or enough water for a water change in an hour or 2. On a tank this size, most people will change the sediment filter when it looks dirty, carbon block about once a year, and the DI resin when it changes from blue to gold. Once the gold's about a ½ inch from the top, it's time to change it out. The setup probably took 10 to 15 minutes here with a few minutes of maintenance a year, and we're producing water that we're confident in. Pretty easy to see why a vast majority of long-term reefers make their own water rather than drive around to get it. The next logical question, of course, is how do I turn fresh water into salt water? This is even easier than this and just some salt mix, but I do have some solid tips I wish somebody had told me in the beginning. The entire 5-minute guide playlist is always available here, but if you want to know some of those tips, that's next. We'll see you there.